Hi traders, welcome to the full market analysis for the 10th of March. Markets are pretty awful actually, not doing much at all, so we have to be patient, we have to wait for the market to come to us. We've got our eye on the oil software, which once it goes, it will go again, so look out for that back to $120 possibly, but we have to wait for that break. And once it does, I will let you know in the VIP room. Now, one of the things I'm going to be talking about today is parabolic trends. I've been banging on about this for years. In order to understand what a parabolic trend is, I'll cover that in the next few minutes. Let's go to the gold software. As we can see here, the price came down quite significantly into this 51.90 area, bounced off it, but I'm not quite convinced of that yet. So I'm gonna remove this here, and we can see that there is a strong demand area down here at 51.72. I did mention this morning in the VIP room at 6 AM or thereabouts, the price was highly likely to bounce off of 51.62 as it had the rally. And this is what happens. The price cycle pulls down into the buy zone exactly on the number 51.62, and I predicted it would go back to 51.86, which is where the actual supply zone was early in the day. The supply has been taken out now. So a great way of getting into the market if you want to trade at your own risk, of course. Now we can see now that the price has rallied in the last couple of hours, and I suspect there's going to be further downside momentum into this trade because we do have negative hidden divergence on the software, gold on steroid software. So I think this pattern here that we're seeing emerge is going to create a channel, and we're going to see the price bounce in the next few hours. Now, in terms of entry points using the gold on steroids, we can see quite clearly what we're looking for in order to manage the position. As I often say, buy above the 50, buy above the 50, buy above the 50. If the price is below the 50, then that is not a buy. Makes sense? So we're not buying here. We're not buying here, we are buying here, we are buying here, we are buying here. Now if the price is drifting, as it is at the moment, we can say that we're not particularly interested in trading gold. We look for other things to trade. So whilst that is going on, then we'll be looking for other positions to be had. Let's go into the parabolic trend. Where we can see where the price is in terms of a parabolic trend, I hear you say. You should know by now if you've been with me for a few years. And I'm going to go into, where should we go first? Canadian yen. Okay, so let's go to that, and I'll give you how I've got these charts in particular set out. So one of the things that I always talk about is when the price is above the 20 moving average, which is this black line, then we can expect the price to go much higher. Whenever the price is below that area, then it goes down, and so on and so forth. Now if we have a combination of factors in terms of trend going on, and we have all the buyers in, as we can see here, once all the buyers are stepping in, we're going to be very interested in buying this position into here with a beautiful buy signal. Once you have the buy signal, then of course the price tends to go up. Now how do we manage that, and how do we get into the position, and how do we ensure that it is parabolic? Well, you can just trade off the daily chart, to be fair. Once you've got this going on, then just hold it. However, if you want to check to see the position on a 4-hour time frame, then you can do exactly the same thing, have a 20 moving average, and wait for all the buyers to come in and everything to go green. on the 4-hour chart. So we can see at this point here, we can see that all the buys are in and the price moves above the 20 SMA. Here we can see all the buyers are in and the price moves above the 20 SMA. And then you can have your trade and hold on to the position. Now we've got the position here where the price has come up. It was moving up, now it's moving sideways pretty much. But we do expect prices to come back into this in the next few hours and this to go green. So if you're not long this position, then it's a good idea to wait for the buyers to step in, i.e. for all these buyers to step in and go green, and then you can actually buy into the Canadian yen. Is it parabolic? It is certainly parabolic on the left, but it's not parabolic on the right, so it's not truly parabolic in true sense of the word. Now if we go down, of course, we can go down to 3-hour, we can go down to the 2-hour, we can go down to the 1-hour. The 1-hour is much clearer, of course. But what you want to make sure is the 4-hour complies with the 3-hour, the 2-hour and the 1-hour. So dial it down, make sure the position is correct, and then once all the buyers are in on the 4-hour, then they will definitely be ready for you on the lower time frame as well. In terms of stop loss, very straightforward. Once you get a position where you have all the conditions correct, then you are going to go with your stop loss at the previous swing low below the 20 SMA, and then you're going to go 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, whatever you feel comfortable with. So we can predict quite accurately which pairs are currently parabolic. Let me give you a perfect position where we're not seeing parabolic, and that's certainly the US dollar. The US dollar is showing that the price is completely mixed, not sure where to go now. We have a weak DXY on the right on the 4-hour chart, and we have a strong DXY on the left. Notice how the price has moved above the 20 moving average and therefore finished above the 20 moving average, but now it's finished below the 20 moving average on the 4-hour. So this is not something we're interested in. Because the DXY is mixed, you're going to find that the euro dollar is mixed. Okay, so the euro dollar has been selling off in the last month or so. And we can see that clearly on the 4-hour chart and the daily chart. And all you're looking to do is for both charts to synchronize with each other so that you can get into the position of the profits. So in the example of the US yen, we can clearly see straight away that the left chart is parabolic to the upside and the right chart is not quite right. So therefore, if you want to wait for the perfect entry, you want to make sure that all the buyers are stepping in. And usually once the price moves above the 20 moving average, then it continues with volume. And that's your trading opportunity, as you can see very clearly structured on the price action charts. Now this is a really good example of a position. I put a sell signal on the US Canadian today where we had a parabolic trend on the left. You can see that clearly. Let me enlarge that for you. And we can see here that we have price structure moving below the 20 moving average with volume, and we also have a sell signal, beautiful sell signal, and all the sellers are in. Now, in order to make sure that it's parabolic to the downside, you just want to make sure that all the sellers are in. Now, you could argue that this was a late entry. I would accept that. However, I'm happy to say that we are making profits. And as I dial down into this chart on the right, which is a 4-hour chart, I can actually dial down to the 3-hour chart. I can dial down to the 2-hour chart, 2-hour chart. And then I can dial down to the 1-hour chart. So the 1-hour chart becomes the entry point where you can go short in this instance, because the price action has fallen below the 20 moving average, and all the sellers are in on the daily, on the 4 hour, on the 3 hour, on the 2 hour, and on the 1 hour. So you have a combination of factors telling you the price is going in one direction and one direction only. Now the US Swiss is a good example as well of a mixed dollar. Only $1 pair is parabolic, and that is the US Canadian. And so we can see straight away, without any hesitation, we don't want to be trading. We want to be avoiding this chart as an example on the US Swiss, because we've got one chart which is going down and we've got the left chart going up. We want to make sure that they sync together. Let's go through the yens, and we can actually see these in action as the price is continuing up into an uptrend. Now the concern with the Swiss yen, of course, is on the left it's moving into a supply zone, but we did predict earlier in the week the price is going to 202.90, which is actually done and breached that target from the weekly forex forecast. But nonetheless, despite that, we can see that the price is parabolic to the upside, and this would be a legitimate trade without the supply zone being there. Aussie yen, we can see that this is a continuation pattern, and simply whenever you see your 4-hour chart, let's go back to the 4-hour chart, when the 4-hour chart agrees, then all the buyers are in. Simply dial down to the 3-hour. Does it agree? 2-hour, does it agree? 1 hour, does it agree? And of course it does, as long as it's moving above the 20 SMA and is achieving higher lows and higher highs for a buy. Now in terms of the euro yen, we can see that this is a really good example of a mixed trade. We won't be trading it because of the fact that on the left we have all the sellers in, very unusual. However, we have buyers on the 4-hour chart, as we can see here. So this is, despite the fact that it's going up, is not a valid trade as yet. It could turn out to be a valid trade, but other trades are far better, including the New Zealand yen, as you can see, bouncing off a really nice demand area on the left, and price moving higher, achieving higher lows and higher highs. Once again, we can see the Canadian yen, which is this one, moving higher. We can see that if you're not sure where to get in, and you're not sure if it's the right thing to do, look at the 4-hour, look at the 1 hour, 3-hour, 2-hour, and just make sure that the price is moving above the Now in terms of the pound New Zealand, I did post this onto the VIP room yesterday, not in the money yet, but nonetheless we have a very big target on this one. So again, we'll be holding this one for several weeks, maybe even longer. Doesn't matter how long it takes, but we can see there's been a breakout above the 20 and all the buyers are in. So just be patient with this one. And one thing you can do, again, repeat, you can wait for the price to move above the 20 SMA before you enter on the 4-hour chart. It did do that 24 hours ago, whatever it was, but now it's moving down. However, if you're not in this yet, simply wait for it to go all green. So back to gold, and we can see this is drifting. Highly likely it's going to move down into demand 51.72. In terms of the gold software, the shorts are in at the moment, not going anywhere, completely consolidating at the moment. So this is what you want to be waiting for, and then you're just going to hold it, because if the war in Iran is not going to be sorted out, then I think there could be another rally in terms of oil. Have a wonderful day.